Welcome back. This is a very common problem with photographs, a sloping horizon. Perhaps not as extreme as this one, but it is common all the same. And luckily it's one that's fairly easy to correct. If you can see, the horizon here is at a very steep angle. And if you look at the sail on this, that's vertical. It just goes to show you have to be very careful choosing where your verticals are. Anyway, let's try and sort this out. We need to rotate the image. So we go to Image, Rotate Canvas. Now we've got some choices here. We could rotate 180 degrees, we could rotate 90 degrees clockwise, 90 degrees counterclockwise, or as we would say anti-clockwise, and then arbitrary. Arbitrary means that you put in an amount there, hit OK, and it moves to that position. Very difficult to try and guess what sort of angle that is. But there is a way around that. What we need is the measure tool. Now if we go over here to the toolbox, down here, hidden under this eyedropper, is the measure tool. Click on that. And what we do is we zoom in first of all, so that's Control++. Hold down the space bar, move the picture around, and we click on the horizon, hold the mouse key down, move it along here to some other point, let it go, and we go to Image, Rotate Canvas, Arbitrary, and we find they've put an amount in there. What is it, 3.3 degrees? Click on that, OK, and bingo, we have a straight horizon. Now if we zoom out, we can see that we need to do something about this other business, because obviously if we're going to rotate it, we need then to crop it. So if we come in here and get the crop tool, and we draw across, try to get as big an image as possible. If you look at here, the bottom left, it's gone a bit funny, it's gone over the side, so we just click that, bring it back up. There you go. So now we've got as big an image as possible. Double click on the center, and there we have a nice straight horizon and a cropped image. Now there is another way of doing that. If we go back to Open, undo all that, we're back where we started. We can actually do it just with the crop tool. So we've got the crop tool selected, and what we do is we zoom in, hold down the space bar, move the picture, and we draw a little crop square over the horizon area. Then if we move the cursor to the corner, we can see double-headed arrow, which if we click, we can then rotate this to try and get it parallel to the horizon. That'll do, that's nice and straight. Having done that, we can now zoom out, Control 0, grab these little nodes, pull the crop tool out, if you run out of space there, just move the bottom up a little bit, then you can take it a bit further. That's near enough. Now we then double click in the middle of the image, and there we have it. We've cropped it and rotated it in one go. In the previous image we had a nice straight horizon, so we knew where we were. In a case like this, where we're looking across a lake, we've got what appears to be a horizon, but is it necessarily straight? It's hard to tell. We have this problem with lakes, and if we're taking pictures across a bay. But we've got a boat moored, and because it's moored, obviously a still day, then we can use the mast as our data. So if we click again on the measure tool, now we can zoom in, Control++, hold down the space bar, that's it, click on the top of the mast, pull the thing down to the bottom of the mast, let go, image, rotate canvas, arbitrary, 6.9 degrees, click OK and zoom out. And now we've got a nice straight mast. The horizon is near enough straight, but it's a bit difficult to see, but at least we've got a nice straight boat. Now we can get the crop tool, do the usual, and there we are. Nice and simple. So we could use horizontals or verticals as long as we are happy that what we're looking at should be straight. Now both of those previous images were quite simple. It was a straight line which was not horizontal and should have been horizontal, or was not vertical and should have been vertical. But sometimes we're presented with a problem like this, where we have a church window. Now church windows have a few issues really. Although they're quite big relative to the size of the building, they are a bright spot within an overall dark environment. And the best way to photograph them, if you can, is to get the other end of the church and put your camera on a tripod with a long telephoto lens, and then you don't get quite so much distortion. Now sometimes we haven't got that luxury. In this case, this picture was taken with a telephone, camera on a telephone. So in order to make it a reasonable size, I had to get in fairly close, pointed the camera up, which gave us all this distortion. I did underexpose the image quite a lot so that we would continue to have colour in the window. If I'd given it what the camera wanted to do originally, it would have been much brighter and we'd have had no colour here. So in order to try to correct this, there's two things we need to do first. If we go into image, adjustments, shadows and highlights, this enables us to bring out the best in the image. Now the shadows I think are a little bit too bright. We can take those down a little bit because it is a church after all. That looks about right. And then we can darken the highlights with this one, and that gives us a lot more colour, brighter colour, more vibrant colour in the window itself. So that's good. Now all we've got to do is get it straight. Now in Photoshop CS, in order to do what I'm about to do, we need to change this background, which is that picture, the background, into a layer. I will be doing another video on layers, but for the time being just accept the fact we have to turn that into a layer. And the easiest way to do it is to double click it, and it comes up here, name, layer 0, click OK, and now you see that instead of saying background, it now says layer. So we go into edit, transform, distort, and if we grab one of these little things up here, we can pull that straight, and we can pull that straight, and now we've got something that looks much more like the window. If we just make the image a little smaller, Control minus, we can see that the bottom of the window is not parallel with the bottom of the image. So if we grab this little nodule here and pull it down, that's more like it. So all in all, that looks quite reasonable. Perhaps it's come out a little bit there. We can pull that in a fraction. That's it, and we can pull that in a fraction. There we go. So now we've got a window roughly the right shape, but we've got an awful lot of ceiling here. But if we hit enter to accept that, we can then go up to here to edit, transform again, and this time we go to scale, and we can grab this little nodule here and pull it up. So now we've got enough of the roof here to show us what's there, but the window looks a heck of a lot better. We've got a little bit of a problem here which we can easily crop out. Double click on that and it's been accepted. So there we are. We went from this to this very, very quickly. Right, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, then look out for the next in the series.